Hey, it's Juan and Mason, Stoops, Pedals and Effects. Mason's been on Pedals and Effects before. Dude, first year.
Yeah.
So early on, I filmed around a NAMM show or something, and I had Ben from Dwarfcraft, and then I asked Jamie if he wanted to get interviewed, and Jamie was like, I don't want to interview. I'd like to jam. And he brought you.
Yeah.
And that's when we met. You play guitar, obviously. I played bass, obviously. Not today, but I did play bass. And Jamie played drums. So if you want to search our YouTube channel and put Jamie Stillman, Mason Stoops, it'll come up as like one of the first videos of the first year. And that's how we met. Yeah. Mason's a rad guitar player with weird ass fucking guitars. He even brought his fretless in because he knows I play fretless. And maybe we'll play some fretless through these. Wait, what? What are we here for? Dark World, Chase Bliss. Yes. Dip switches and all, as you would expect from the beautiful Chase Bliss line. I've been a fan of Joel's pedals. Warp Vinyl is the first one. I think what happened was I did a video on a vibrato pedal, and some kid hit me and goes, dude, you gotta get the Warp Vinyl. And I'm like, well, I like the name. So I wrote to him, and he sent me, and I used it a ton, and I fell in love with the Warp Vinyl.
I feel like you were the first person to show me it, actually.
God, it's magic. It is straight up magic. This dude is so tight.
Yeah, and the original one it still sounds cool.
Yeah. I wherever that is that the original?
That's the black one's the original. That copper one there, this is the latest version of it. I think it's the second or third that he's done. And they keep getting better sounding, and the features keep getting more
wild.
Yeah.
Yes. So Joel's out in Minneapolis, and I mean, to be honest with you, I've always looked at it as a daunting task to do a good representation of his pedals because of this. Because there's so much thing here, all these knobs and switches, but really, when you break it down, it's easy to get a hold of. Even that's not that. I mean, because he gives you these, you got to have glasses. That's why I'm wearing my glasses. You got to have, in these dip switches, there's all this like mix, whatever, dwell, all these different little like keys to what you're messing with. So it's not that weird. It's like, I've had dip switches where you're just like, what the fuck is this dip switch? Totally. You have to plug it in, you hear it, you're like, I guess it's doing something, but he's made it as easy as possible for you. And this is a dual channel reverb.
Correct.
First reverb. And so...
Also his first totally digital pedal.
First totally digital. Yeah, because all this shit is digitally pad, but functionality is digital, but analog.
Totally. It's generally in the past, it's been an analog signal path, kind of offering up the best of what any of those old analog circuits would offer, but with the benefits of digital control and digital kind of manipulation of those controls.
Boom. Mason, it sounds like you've done some demo work for Chase Bliss.
Man, who's to say? Who really knows?
Are you going to be at NAMM show this year?
Actually, I am. It's funny you ask.
Yes. And would you possibly be seen there at the Chase Bliss booth?
I don't want to confirm one way or the other, but...
there's a good chance that might happen.
I might be there.
All right. So, and I know I'll be there at some point. Don't know when. But, so, anyway, so Mason sent me an email with some audio clips that he did. And I gave him credit because Nick and I do such a fucking weird approach to pedal whatever. We don't call them reviews. We just like when we show pedals on the channel. But Mason was like, he plays like a phrase or whatever. Then he turns the pedal on, and I know a lot of dudes do it, but not a lot of dudes do it with the skill that you do it. And it really made me think, I go, fuck, there is something to doing it that way. So the audio clips are going to be available, I think, through his site, right?
Yeah, as soon as the pedal comes out, the clips will be available online. The settings that I came up with for each of those clips is also included in every manual that comes with the pedal.
Right. And so, of course, like, that Pedals and Effects have covered some reverb pedals, some pretty great ones too. But I will say that there was a couple settings on there, and I was like, shit, those other ones probably could do that, but maybe they couldn't. I don't know. All I know is that you dug something in this pedal that I was like, I would use that setting. So, like basically, they're entering the ring of reverb world, Chase Bliss. And so, Mason, you're gonna kind of rip through some of these settings, right?
Yeah, we might go through some settings in the manual. We might come up with some new ones on the spot. It'll be exciting either way.
Yeah, and so I'm real quick. I'm just like decay, ramp, mix, dwell, modify, tone, pre-delay, which is always cool in reverb. Then these switches. It says here MIDI.
That's correct.
That his first MIDI.
No, I think every pedal he's done has some level of MIDI functionality.
Through the CV.
Correct.
Right. Okay, so then here is like mod shim black. I guess you can't have a reverb pedal without having shim.
Not
right?
these days. No, it's 2018.
Right. Come on, one. And then, of course, spring plate and hall. That's over here. I don't really know what this middle stuff is. Do you?
Yeah, so the simplest way to break this down, if you ignore all the switches on the top and you really want to simplify what you're looking at on the front panel, it's two independent reverbs. The one on the left being the world side is kind of your three standard reverbs. You have spring, plate, and hall, and these knobs correspond with that.
Oh, easy. Cool.
On the far left side, you have the dark setting, which is the three mod, shimmer, and black. And then these two knobs correspond with that. So really, these two go with here, these two go here.
Easy.
And then the middle is just your general mix knob overall and your tone knob. And then the last switch in the middle, other than this preset switch, is the one that you can change the order of the effect. So you can have the world setting going into the dark setting, which is right there, I believe, in the middle. You could have, the middle was dark into world. Far right is world into dark. And then far left is both on independently without interacting with each other. So,
oh, crazy.
Yeah, it looks like a lot, but once you break it down, it's kind of close to any other reverb pedal.
And this is so the thing is with this is that this turns on this panel, correct. This turns on this side of the panel, and then if you want both of them on, do you hit them at the same time?
You can.
Or that's like you said over here. Then that's.
So yeah, I mean.
I'm not here. I'm not saying not that one. This one, right? All
yeah.
the way over. Then they're both independently.
Totally.
Got it. And so let me ask you this though. I see 2 and 2 stereo reverb.
I know everyone's asking. No stereo as of right now. Just buy 2.
Okay, so then is this like the output for the dark, and this is the
no? So they both will come out the same output. They're not independent via any jacks. Just basically like there's like a lot of dual drive pedals. Like King of Tone's a great example, which has a boost on one side and a drive in the other, and firsthand the difference of running an overdrive into a boost or a boost into an overdrive.
Right.
Can change a lot. So same thing with the reverb. Having maybe a dark short reverb and then a bright long reverb. Running a bright long reverb into a dark short reverb is going to sound completely different.
Yeah,
than
right. Totally.
The opposite.
Got you. I follow you. And so let me ask you: stereo input, or is it 2 independent inputs?
No. So one input, and then this will be either your expression
pedal. Got it. Right. So okay, because the reason I asked that. And really, this is for the keyboard players. Do you have any keyboard players ask me, is it stereo input? And I was like, why would you use synthesizer keyboard players, they always ask that because, if they're using 2 keyboards or whatever, or maybe there's like stereo outs of the keyboard and they want to be able to go into. But I got you. So, and then anything you can say about these? Because I usually don't mess with these on these. I get my sound on the warp vinyl, and then I'm good to go. I don't really mess with the disc switches.
I'll say this much. Obviously, there's a lot to take in on Chase Bliss pedals. The switches on the back, especially, can be daunting. Joel always recommends kind of ignoring those. If you really buy the pedal, get to know it just from up here.
Right.
What these switches are is essentially like if you had this pedal on the ground and you had a buddy there that was turning knobs as you were playing. You can get a lot of cool sounds by ramping up the length of the reverb or shortening it while you're playing. And what these knobs give you access to is basically a digital version of that. So instead of having your friend turn knobs, you could have the pedal digitally, not physically, change settings while you're playing it. And there's a switch to have it. It's called bounce, and what that essentially does, without bounce on, if you turn the pedal on and it's got some of these set, whatever knobs you have preset via each switch will go to a setting and stop there.
Got it.
If you turn on bounce, it'll bounce. It'll go back and forth, and that really opens up a lot of cool sonic possibilities.
No kidding.
But
wow.
basically each main knob has a switch to be turned on or off for that ramping setting. There's a follow-up switch on the next side which changes if it's going to be from 0 to where the knob is set, or if it's going to be from like maxed out to where the knob is set. So it's kind of clockwise or counterclockwise.
Okay.
So that's probably the best I can explain it.
I mean, I understood it, so I'm sure like most of you got that. And of course, manuals online. If you guys really want to nerd out and get into the dip switch flipping world, then read up and you'll get into it. Again, like I'm just one of those dudes that have like I'm lazy. A lot of times in the old days, I used to have like people go, "Why do you have 2 ring mods?" And I'm like, "Because I don't want to bend over and
totally
turn knobs." So I would just like have 2. Obviously, there's things in the world that have happened that you don't need to do. That you could use just one pedal and then do stuff like that, or presets. So this is his first pedal. No, not his first pedal with presets, but this is the So it's 3. Is that what the
essentially? Yeah. So via this switch here, you have 2 savable presets that you can access via this being preset 1, this being preset 2. The middle position goes right back to whatever the knobs are at.
Got it.
Internally,
cool.
You can store even more presets. I can't say specifically what that number is, but I know it's extremely high, maybe 200-ish, give or take. And those can be accessed via MIDI or CV through that jack. And so there's really, I mean, I've said it before, but really an engineering marvel as far as how much is packed inside
of tell me that. Yeah.
One pedal. It's pretty nuts.
I mean, and again, like, I think that if you're thinking like if you're thinking in price range, I really don't know and don't care how much this is, but just that explanation alone would make you think like, well, yes, it's like he thought of everything. There's nothing he did not think about in creating these pedals that he does. And so when you take that into consideration in price, you're getting way more than if you're just getting your Boss pedal that gets your one setting and there's no presets or whatever. And yes, so to me, this is like, because of all that you were just explaining, this is like 3-4 pedals in one.
It really
is. You know what I mean? So, because of course, reverb is such a different world now. It's not just spring, hall, plate. It's shimmer. It's pre. It's I mean, the reverb world went bananas, right? Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. So Mason's gonna plug in.
Yeah.
This dude.
This is the Telly. I've used it a lot. I think actually the first time I came here, this is the guitar I brought.
I remember that It was a tailpiece there, right?
Something similar. It's had a lot done to it, but at the end of the day, it's a pretty standard Telly. Old Telly bridge pickup, old Japanese neck pickup, volume and tone, simple, straightforward.
And the strings?
Strings are Gabriel Tenorio String Company, the best ever, hand wound, one at a time, by the coolest dude you've ever met.
In what city?
Boyle Heights.
Yes, East LA, Boyle Heights. All right then, here we go.
Let's do it. So this is my dry signal, no reverb at all. What are we plugged into?
Oh man, we're plugged into the Line 6 Helix.
Very cool.
Into the Line 6 speaker for the Line 6 Helix. Like, I don't know, we're really getting some wild, clean sound.
It's clean. Unlike, man.
Quiet and clean.
You could describe it as dirty, but you'd be wrong.
Okay, so, and then...
Dry is dry.
Let's walk into the dark world.
Okay, we're going to take a nice, easy step. We're just, this is the spring setting. Could take some time to just showcase what's so important about this pre-delay knob, because it's normally on pedals that have a pre-delay knob, it can be pretty subtle. But what Joel's done is made it really dramatic, and it can end up being really musical if you use it the right way. So I'll start with something with a short pre-delay, kind of like what you get from a normal spring reverb. But now, as I turn this up, we'll have more of a pre-delay.
Voila,
You know,
voila.
now it's just one knob. So, man, I think that's the whole pedal, right?
Yeah, right. Thank you, Mason. No, I'm kidding. All right, come on, man. We need. So you know what I was just thinking as you were playing, I was like going, okay, so he called it the Dark World. Let's show me why the word dark came into this conversation.
All right, that's fair. It's also worth noting this was a collaboration with 2 other pedal companies.
No, has he ever done that?
No, well, the Brothers was a collaboration, and this was actually similar in the approach, where one side, the dark side, being the more experimental kind of avant-garde settings, is Cooper Effects, who I believe worked with him on the Brothers as well. So they helped develop the dark side, and then the world side, which is the more spring hall plate traditional sounds, that's all Keeley Electronics. So
Mr. Robert Keeley, our good friend.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you have all of Robert's expertise making the simple, classic, traditional reverbs, and then you have Cooper Effects come in on the other side for the real crazy shit. So let's do some of that, because you were asking what the dark setting is, and to me, when I was first digging in this pedal, it was the modulation setting, which is the first one on the Dark World. Just, I don't know, not exactly cranking it, but check this out. If I do this right, I think it'll work. So here's my dry signal again. And now with the reverb on. You know?
I mean, I'll tell you right now, it's like you're playing something very beautiful, and I think normally I would say uplifting, but then you're in this dark world on the pedal, and I was like, fuck, it is dark. Like the gray cloud came over and kind of made me a little bit like, whoa, shit, this is deep.
It's really, I don't know, it's an emotional pedal.
Hey, dude. And you know, my buddy Max here filming with us, he loves the dark side.
Is that true?
Yes, he loves Star Wars, and he loves the dark side of Star Wars, right, Max?
It's true.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So is there any other dark setting you can darken us with?
Let's do it. Let's go on to the shimmer setting, because I think what's so cool about this is, I mean, we were just saying earlier how played out a lot of things have become in the reverb world. That could be tough for pedal companies now to have something, I don't know, different, and especially with they're all relying on a lot of similar chips. It's a challenge for sure. And I really think what Joel and the guys at Cooper Effects did for this shimmer setting is really different, and really kind of in the similar vein as the last sound, like dark and not the usual, I don't know, bright kind of hopeful sounding stuff that shimmer can get with the octaves. This is definitely more moody and
awesome.
strange.
Yes, great.
And I believe the way this works is as you turn modify up, you get an octave up, and as you turn it down, you get an octave down. If I'm wrong, Joel, please don't fire me.
I promise he won't.
Let's see. Let's just try. Let's try it.
Yeah, we can figure this out right now in front of you guys.
We'll do it live. So that sounds more like some octave up stuff, you know?
Yes, octave up.
Right?
Beautiful.
Let's try some octave down. Man, yeah, I don't know that's crazy. It's also really cool. This tone knob is more of a, not quite just bright and dark, but it really shifts where things sit. Just in that same setting, if you turn it up, you get a completely different sound than when you would if it were down. And then down.
I love that.
right?
Sounds like you have flat wounds.
Turn the mix all the way up and just go real crazy.
Oh, I love that at the end.
You turn this down.
Let me do something. Play that like you were doing.
Uh-huh.
And you can do that with an expression pedal.
You can do that with an expression pedal. You can do that with the ramping features, the switches
right.
on the back too.
Awesome.
I mean-
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's just the black setting on the dark side. I think if I turn it back on, it'll be right there.
So you can just sit there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, in this setting, the modify knob acts as a mix, so you can turn it down, bring it up, just your overall volume, and then the decay is your sensitivity for what information it takes from the guitar. So, this decay knob up here, if I have it totally clockwise, nothing that I play will change that pad that's holding right now.
Can you modulate that pad?
You can't modulate it with, other than with the tone knob, you can shape
Got it.
how it
Okay.
sounds. You can't modulate it pitch-wise.
Got it.
What you can do...
You could if you had another pedal. I'm kidding. Just go ahead.
True. Think about it. What you can do is as you turn this down, it becomes more sensitive to what you're playing on the guitar. So...
Oh, I got you. Right.
And now it's latched onto that chord, and anything you play after that, depending on where you have this set, will interact in really cool and musical ways.
And that's what you would also use either with the dip switches or the expression pedal. You
Totally.
Awesome. Fuck. Great.
Yeah, and even just letting it sit there and messing around with the tone knob is super cool. Yeah.
Awesome. And you know what I meant by the another pedal, like meaning like you put another pedal after that pedal in order to modulate. That's what I meant. I didn't mean like there's other pedals that do it. Maybe there is. I'm just saying like if you had a whammy pedal after it, you could modulate that reverb pad that you built. I love it though, man. And man, you explained it to the nines.
Thank
okay.
you. Thank you.
So let's step over to the other side of the world.
All right.
So that was just called world on the other side. It's not bright world and dark world. It's just
You just have dark and world. D
Okay, got it.
and W.
Got it.
Yeah, let's check out some shit on the W side. Maybe the hall setting, that's pretty cool. Let's hear without it. Now with it.
Woof.
You know, it's a lot of pedal. I mean, I know we were saying earlier it could be tough to come up with something new in the reverb world, and I think what this has to offer is not only so many of the really rad sounds that people want out of most of the reverb pedals, but so much shit I've never actually heard a pedal do before.
Awesome. Okay, so then let's do like you were saying. Let's have both of them suckers on since we haven't done that. I mean, every kid's always gonna ask, "What happens if you do them both on? All of them on?"
Let's find out. Let's do. Let's set them in this parallel setting so they're not interacting. They'll just both be on independent of each other. Let's try a shimmer setting with some octave down. Why not? Tone-ish somewhere. And then over here, let's do plate. We haven't done anything plate yet. And I don't know. This could be cool. It might not be.
It's gonna be cool.
It's gonna be cool. Same thing, but maybe with some octaves up.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so I want to see what bass sounds like there. We're not obviously going to be able to do much with my busted up wrist. So what I was thinking we could do is that sound that you got, it was super dark, and we can play fretless. You play fretless with it, and then I play fretless with it.
All right.
So get your fretless guitar.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So, Mason.
Yeah.
Why would you get a fretless? You just want to get in my world. No, really. Tell me why you got a fretless. You just are into it. And you are obviously getting slide-esque like vibe from it.
Yeah, I can't take full credit. I got asked to do a gig when I was subbing for a guitar player named Blake Mills. It's like a huge inspiration to me and a lot of other guitar players. And on that gig in particular, there was a song that he had a fretless baritone part. And instead of borrowing his, I had just kind of randomly acquired this old Tysco built baritone, and it was really janky. It really didn't work well. A friend of mine gave it to me, and so the first thing I took it to my tech. We pulled the frets out, loved it, did the gig with it, and then afterwards was like, all right, let's do it for real. So then we went back, filled the slots, added the all-important live test switch, which is a phase and series, and kind of decked it out in our,
Awesome.
Made it something that it wasn't before.
Sure. Now it's like a tool, like a useful...
I use it constantly.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Awesome. It's just a really cool sound, and especially for a pedal like this, I thought it'd be appropriate.
Well, let's see how appropriate.
Here's something just to hear it by itself, without any effects on. This is just a bridge pickup.
All right, Mason, first I got to tell you, very, very good on the intonation.
Thank you.
My biggest complaint about anybody who plays fretless is their fucking intonation.
It's tricky.
Dude, it took me a good year and a half to play fretless where I was like, all right, cool, I'm not squirrely anymore. I used to be squirrely the first year and a half, and then I practiced every day because I wanted to be so good on fretless, and then it's not easy. Obviously, a little easier on the scale length when you get to the bigger boy, but
look, we can fight
but
about
you're
it
doing
later.
though, and then fuck that, what I just said. It's really hard to do chords, and you just did some chords right there, and I was like, that's hard as fuck. I don't give a fuck what instrument you're playing.
Man, learning how to do chords on this is tough, especially I'm in an open tuning right now. So if I want to have any kind of...
Yeah. And the lines help a little, right?
A little bit. They're not exactly accurate, but they do. They
helps a little, especially when you're in rock band and not like, some jazz or fusion setting where you get to sit down and look at your neck. Okay, so let's do it.
All right, let's try it with some Dark World.
And you have a little bit of octave up on that.
I've got a bit of an octave up coming from the dark side. I've got the tone a little past noon, so they are a little brighter than normal. And then on the world setting, we're just in a plate, and nothing too fancy there.
All right, let the master step in. Open A. Same thing.
Okay. One more time.
Woo woo! All right, Dr. Marcuson, don't get mad at me. So there's a tremolo in there. I'm just kidding. How are you getting that?
So I've activated a preset, and what that preset has going on is the mix knob being turned up and down
Oh, got it.
in such a way that it sounds like a tremolo.
Oh, that's super smart. Do it again.
Don't be fooled, it's just a reverb. And I could change how fast it reacts via the ramp knob.
Awesome. Yes, and then
Here's another preset.
Yeah. All right, Mason, Juan, pedals and effects.